take a seat, please. Today is a special day for the Magistrates Court of Queensland as we welcome 5 new magistrates. We welcome Magistrates Lance Rundle, Michael Wood, Stephanie Williams, Ainslie Kirkegaard and Melinda Zerner to this court. Each of the new magistrates were sworn in at a private ceremony earlier this week. Magistrates Court of Queensland has a close and valued relationship with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. On behalf of all the magistrates in Queensland, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where we meet today, the Turrbal and Yagara peoples, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I also acknowledge the traditional owners of all the locations this ceremony is being video linked to. I respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners' deep connection to the land, water and sea where we meet today. The Chief Magistrate, Her Honour, Judge Janelle Brassington is on leave and cannot be with us today, but she wishes to be associated with my remarks and passes on her warm welcome to our new magistrates. We are honoured to have here today the Honourable Justice Deborah Mullins AM, President of the Court of Appeal, the Honourable Justice Kerry Mellifont, President of the Queensland Civil and Administrative Tribunal, Member Peter Stilligo, OAM, Acting President of the Land Court, and Ms Yasmina Yoldich, Director General of the Department of Justice and Attorney General, as well as other serving and past judicial colleagues of state courts and tribunals. I warmly welcome you all, distinguished guests, members of the profession, and government agencies and departments, and members of the public. I also welcome all of you joining us today by live stream technology. I make particular mention of former Chief Magistrate Marshall Irwin, who joins us from far north Queensland. I've received a number of apologies, including that of the Honourable Helen Boskill, Chief Justice of Queensland, Chief Judge Brian Devereux of the District Court of Queensland, former Chief Magistrates Terry Garber and Ray Renato, and Deputy State Coroner Gallagher, who unfortunately today is unwell. Each of them have asked me to pass on their best wishes to each of the new magistrates. I acknowledge at the bar table Mr Todd Fuller, KC, Acting Director of Public Prosecutions, who is appearing for the Honourable Yvette Dath MP, Attorney General, Minister for Justice and Minister for the Prevention of Domestic and Family Violence, Ms Kate Hayworth-Smith, KC, Vice President of the Bar Association of Queensland, and Ms Chloe Kapilovich, President of the Queensland Law Society. Most importantly of all, I warmly welcome to the court the family and friends of the 5 new magistrates who join us in person and virtually online. Today is made all the more special for our new magistrates by your presence. While today's ceremony focuses upon their remarkable achievements, it is also a recognition of the love, support and friendship you have provided to them. For that, we are honoured to have you with us today. The appointment of our 5 new magistrates takes the total number of magistrates, including coroners, to 105. With the addition of today's 3 new coroners, this is the most significant expansion of the Coroner's Court for over a decade. Magistrates Williams, Kirkegaard and Zerner have specialised in coronial work prior to their appointments, and their appointments add to the judicial expertise of this court. Magistrates and coroners hear and determine matters in some 120 locations. They are often required to discharge their duties in challenging and remote communities. Their work is unrelenting, the volume and complexity can be confronting, and the subject matter can be troubling. Having sufficient numbers of magistrates and coroners to meet these challenges promotes efficiencies in the delivery of justice. I thank the Honourable Attorney for these appointments and the Judicial Appointments Advisory Panel for recommending such experienced, meritorious and dedicated individuals. For the sake of time, I will leave it to those at the bar table to share with you the career highlights and personal attributes of each appointee. But I do wish to observe the strength in their diversity. As an aside note, however, Magistrate Rundle has had a busy week, particularly collecting pre-nominal titles. On Monday, he was sworn in as a magistrate, and on Tuesday, he attended a university ceremony for the conferral of his Doctorate of Laws. Just to even things out a little for him, on Wednesday, we allocated him to sit in the summary offences call-over with a list of some 200 criminal cases. He handled all with aplomb. Magistrate Rundle's first appointment is to Pine Ridge Magistrates Court, and that is for 1 year. His second appointment is to Rockhampton for 2 years, where he will share circuiting responsibilities to Yeppoon, Woorabinda and Biloela. Magistrate Wood's appointments are to Roma for a period of 3 years. Magistrate Wood will also circuit Charleville, Mitchell, Tambo and Quilpie, in addition to convening court at Roma. Magistrate Williams' appointments are to Cairns for a period of 3 years. She'll be the Northern Coroner and be responsible for investigating deaths in the Northern region, which extends from Cairns, south to Bowen, west to Mount Isa, and north to the Papua New Guinean border. Magistrates Kirkegaard and Zerner's appointments are to Brisbane for a total of 3 years. They will join State Coroner Ryan and Deputy State Coroner Gallagher and Coroners Mackenzie and Lee in Brisbane. To each of the new magistrates, I ask you to always be guided in the discharge of your duties by the oath of office you solemnly took. As part of the industry of office expected of you and the show up and get it done attitude needed of you, I ask each of you to strive for judicial excellence in your career. I draw from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said, quote, "One that desires to excel should endeavour in those things that are in themselves most excellent," end quote. For the record, that quote was not said in a tone befitting that of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The 6 elements of judicial excellence can be seen as having impeccable ethics and integrity, being an informed, impartial and timely decision maker, engaging and advancing the work of the courts as an institution, having critical thinking skills, exhibiting self-knowledge and self-control, and practicing well-being techniques, including being collegiate to others. Seeking to attain judicial excellence both in and out of court can help ensure the reputation and public confidence in the modern magistracy is not eroded, but lifted and advanced. With the Chief Magistrate and the other members of the Judicial Leadership Group of the Magistrates Court and the Coroner's Court who share the bench with you today, we ask each of you to strive for such excellence in every day of your judicial career. Noting each of your considerable achievements, the decency of the people you are, and the diversity of your backgrounds, we have every confidence that you will do so. I now ask you to join me in warmly welcoming each of the new magistrates as they take on the exciting challenges of their appointment. Mr. Fuller, KC, on behalf of the Attorney General.
Thank you. I appear on behalf of the Attorney who is unable to be with you today on this special occasion. On behalf of the Attorney General and the Queensland Government, I want to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first Australians. We recognise their culture, their history and diversity, and their deep connections to the lands, water and seas of Queensland and the Torres Strait. We want to pay tribute to the Yagara and Turrbal people as the traditional custodians of Meanjin, what we call Brisbane, the lands upon which we meet, as well as their elders, past, present and emerging. We would particularly like to extend that respect to the elders and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people who are with us today. On behalf of the Honourable Yvette Darth, Attorney General, Minister for Justice, Minister for the Prevention of Domestic and Family Violence, I'd like to acknowledge the new magistrates, Magistrates Wood, Rundle, Zerner, Kirkegaard and Williams. I acknowledge you, the Acting Chief Magistrate, members of the Judiciary who have joined us today, my colleague at the Bar Association, the Vice President, Catherine Haywood-Smith, KC, and members of the Bar who have joined us, the Queensland Law Society outgoing President, Chloe Kavilovich, on the last occasion appearing before this court in this role, members of the Queensland Law Society have also joined us today. I acknowledge the Director General, recently appointed, Yasmina Yoljic, and the family and friends of our incoming magistrates. As we count down the final days of another busy year and look ahead to the next, with a feeling of hope and optimism, it's easy to think about this time, the festive season, as a period of renewal. It's a fitting time to be welcoming 5 new magistrates to the bench, including 3 to the coronial jurisdiction. Queensland is fortunate in the diverse legal talent from which it can draw for important public office of magistrate. Magistrates Michael Wood, Lance Rundle, Ainslie Kirkegaard, Stephanie Williams and Melinda Zerner have all established impressive legal careers which they'll no doubt further develop on the bench. You are thoroughly deserving of today's celebration, and on behalf of the Attorney General, it's my privilege to welcome each of you to this court. Magistrate Michael Wood moves to the bench following more than 25 years of what's described as sustained excellence in private practice. Your Honour began your career as a law clerk in Brisbane in the late 1980s, before moving to the Western Downs in 1990, and joined a growing regional firm then known as Justin F. O'Sullivan and Edgar in Dalby. At that time, Dalby was a small country town with fewer than 10,000 residents. Your Honour quickly put down roots, becoming actively involved with the sporting organisations and established strong links with your community where you remain today. Your legal career also flourished in the West. In 1998, you became a full partner of the firm, now known as Edgar and Wood Solicitors. Specialising in family and commercial law and litigation, Your Honour has worked across all court jurisdictions, including acting in child protection, domestic violence matters in the Magistrates Court, through to complex litigation in the Supreme Court. You've also given exemplary service to the state of Queensland as a member of both the Queensland Civil Administrative Tribunal since 2008 and the Mental Health Review Tribunal, which you joined in 2009. The role of a regional magistrate is an important one within the community. As one of Queensland's leading solicitors who has practiced in regional areas for many years, Your Honour is ideally suited to this calling, and as His Honour has noted, you'll begin your tenure in Roma. Magistrate Lance Rundle also joins the bench from regional Queensland, a bet from a larger city, that of Rockhampton. One might be inclined to think that the bench is doubly benefiting, given that Your Honour has excelled in careers as both a practising lawyer and as an academic, where we first crossed paths. Your Honour's academic career commenced in 2005 as a law lecturer at the Central Queensland University. A gifted teacher and educator, Your Honour was twice awarded the Pro Vice-Chancellor's Award for Distance Education. Your Honour's reach as an educator was further extended through the regular publishing, including as a co-author of the 3rd edition of Family Law Principles, published by Thomson Reuters. Despite that heavy academic workload, Your Honour's passion for learning and thirst for knowledge continued unabated. As we've heard, you successfully completed the postgraduate degrees, culminating in your PhD conferred earlier this week. It's remarkable, and in the attorney's words, frankly exhausting, to consider that Your Honour's parallel career as a practicing solicitor has been equally stellar. From 2007 until 2012, Your Honour worked diligently as a senior associate for John Williams and Associates in Rockhampton, gaining a wealth of experience in criminal law, child safety law and family law before taking up duties at Legal Aid Queensland in Rockhampton from 2013, serving the community in that important role for over a decade. I'm pleased that Your Honour will return to the community of Rockhampton after your time in Pine Rivers. There is no doubt that the demands of our magistrates are considerable, and this is certainly true in the coronial jurisdiction. Today, we welcome a trio of new coroners of the highest calibre to help shoulder that load. Magistrate Stephanie Williams' appointment as a Northern Coroner was met with much enthusiasm in North Queensland, with the reputable publication The Cairns Post prominently featuring Your Honour aptly described as a trailblazing Cairns barrister. That enthusiasm is warranted. Having gained extensive experience as a solicitor in private practice, as well as with the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions and the United Kingdom Crown Prosecution Service, Your Honour was called to the bar in 2014, which included some time as a Crown Prosecutor and a colleague of mine. Your Honour has considerable experience in coronial inquiries, appearing as counsel for individuals, government departments and private organisations in inquests in Queensland and the Northern Territory. Outside the coronial jurisdiction, Your Honour had considerable experience in criminal law, child protection and domestic violence. Outside of that, Your Honour was noted as a skilled mediator, having served as the chair of the AFL Appeals Board in Cairns, gaining great respect for your fairness and impartiality. Of course, Your Honour's support of the women in the legal profession, both as a mentor with the Queensland Women's Lawyers Association of Queensland and through your All Rise, the mentoring podcast for women lawyers, has been a tremendous success. I wonder if Your Honour will continue podcasting from the bench. Your Honour's appointment as a Northern Coroner will see you return to serve the community of Cairns. Magistrate Ainslie Kirkegaard, you've already served the Coroner's Court of Queensland with great distinction, both as Queensland's inaugural Coronial Registrar since 2012 and as an acting coroner since 2015. As an acting coroner, Your Honour has conducted inquests and made findings across a range of reportable death categories. Many of Your Honour's non-inquest findings have been published to serve the public interest. Your Honour's dedication to the coronial system has shaped its continuous improvement and reform. As Queensland's first coronial registrar role, holding powers delegated by the State Coroner, Your Honour triaged and determined thousands of deaths reported to the Coroner's Court, supporting timely outcomes for families. Your Honour's expertise and service in the Coroner's Court follows considerable service to Queensland as a specialist in policy and legislative development in the Department of Justice and the Attorney-General and other government agencies. Your Honour has garnered a broad range of knowledge and experience shared at conference events through formal bodies such as the Queensland Paediatric Quality Council. Coroner Kirkegaard will continue her dedicated service here in Brisbane. Magistrate Zerner is another whose intellectual capacity and breadth of professional experience has furnished two distinct careers. Prior to being called to the bar in 2011, Your Honour worked for 17 years as a highly successful nursing clinician, educator and nurse manager. After admission to the legal profession in 2004, Your Honour continued to hone your skills in the professional indemnity practice group of Tyne and McCartney Solicitors before serving as a senior legal advisor in Queensland government agencies. Your Honour has appeared across the jurisdictions of Queensland courts and assisted commissions of inquiry, including the Commonwealth Disability Royal Commission. In the coronial jurisdiction, Your Honour has nothing short of a prolific, having appeared in some 49 inquests. Your Honour continues to inspire the next generation of lawyers as a mentor at QUT and was recognised by the Women's Lawyers Association of Queensland INSPO list for barristers in 2020 through to 2022. Coroner Zerner will no doubt be an asset to the Brisbane Court. Magistrates Wood, Rundle, Williams, Kirkegaard and Zerner, you have assembled impressive bodies of work over a long period of time and will be great assets to this court and to the community that it serves. On behalf of the attorney, I warmly congratulate you on your well-deserved appointments and wish you every success and satisfaction through the remainders of your careers. And I also extend the attorney's best wishes to all those present for the festive season. Please, the court.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Ms. Haywood-Smith, Casey.
May it please the court. It gives me great pleasure to speak on behalf of the Bar Association of Queensland to congratulate you, Magistrate Rundle, Magistrate Wood, Magistrate Kirkegaard, Magistrate Zerner and Magistrate Williams. Magistrate Rundle, you joined the court from the Rockhampton office of Legal Aid Queensland, where you have worked since 2013, primarily in family law, criminal law and employment law. Since 2021, you have performed that work as counsel. This court has already heard of your extensive postgraduate achievements, and while they are worthy of much repetition, they are only one element that makes Your Honour so eminently suited to this role. As a practitioner, you were recognised not just for your legal knowledge, but for your skill in identifying issues and negotiating resolutions, particularly when acting on short notice as a duty lawyer. The Court often recorded its appreciation for Your Honour's work assisting self-represented litigants. While working for legal aid, Your Honour has also been involved in various roles with the Central Queensland University, indeed since 2005, ultimately becoming head of course for the law degree, and lecturing in all areas across the full spectrum of disciplines, from commercial subjects to criminal and family law and alternative dispute resolution. Indeed, Your Honour's course in family law popularised the area of practice and is widely considered the most desirable course on the subject. Your Honour, we are told, is a keen traveller, indeed an adventurer, hiking in the Swiss Alps almost every year, and not doing things by halves, teaching yourself German along the way. Recently, Your Honour was an adjudicator for the Central Queensland University's annual high school debating competition held at the Supreme Court of Queensland. The legal studies students debated complex topics involving youth justice and the theories underpinning imprisonment. Your Honour commented particularly on their deft arguments and depth of preparation. We hope that all of the advocates appearing before you in your role as magistrate will be equally skillful and prepared. Your strong foundations of legal knowledge will serve Your Honour and the people of Pine Rivers and Rockhampton so very well. Magistrate Wood, we are glad to welcome you to this court before you begin serving the community of Roma, having practiced continuously for more than 3 decades with solicitors in Dalby, where you have been a principal with Edgar and Wood since 1998. As is the case with so many regional practitioners, Your Honour developed a broad practice, working in criminal law and commercial law across all of the court jurisdictions, as well as performing the vital role of duty lawyer in the magistrates and children's courts. Your Honour has also been a sessional member of QCAT since 2008 and a part-time legal member of the Mental Health Review Tribunal since 2009. In your many years as member of those tribunals, you've presided over the vast array of appeals and decisions, and no doubt have gained valuable quasi-judicial experience while maintaining your practice. You've also been recognised for your proficiency within the Mental Health Tribunal, having held a delegation of the President's powers since 2018. Outside of practice and your commitments to the tribunals, Your Honour has dedicated time to the community, the Catholic Church, the Dalby Cricket Association, and of course the Dalby Rugby Club. We hope that in your new locale, the Echidnas can embrace a Wheatman. Rugby rivalries aside, the court in Roma will be well served by a magistrate forging such strong connections with the community he serves. Magistrate Williams, we are glad to have you here today before you return to Cairns, where your former colleagues will be glad to have you back. Aside from a year's secondment to London working for the Crown Prosecutor's Service and the Office of Fair Trading, Your Honour has been practising continuously in Cairns, first as a solicitor until your call to the bar in 2014. As counsel, you were briefed to appear in criminal trials for both the accused and the Crown in all jurisdictions, as well as appearing for the Commissioner of Police and Crime and Corruption Commissioner in civil hearings. Your time spent as Crown Prosecutor also gave you the opportunity to mentor junior staff in the DPP. One of the reasons you have been such a valued member of the bar in Cairns is your willingness as a mentor, which extends to the podcast, All Rise. You are a powerful and effective advocate for women, having represented the bar in Cairns as regional representative with the Women Lawyers Association of Queensland for 6 years, as well as 2 years spent as vice president of that association. Your Honour's warm and infectious laugh, your renowned and timeless sense of style, your industry, your acumen, and your compassion will be welcome additions to the court in Cairns. Magistrate Kirkegaard, you joined the court with significant experience across the Magistrates and Coroner's Court. You have been an acting magistrate for 8 years and a coronial registrar for nearly 12. Your career is exemplary for your commitment to public service and the work you've already done in this court. Prior to your appointment as Coronial Registrar, you spent 3 years as counsel assisting the Deputy State Coroner, instructing senior counsel and appearing directly in inquests. You have twice been Director of the Coroner's Court in Queensland Registry, providing support to coroners. In your time with this court, you have sat as acting coroner, presiding over inquests and made investigations and findings across the range of reportable death categories, finalising somewhere within the range of 17,000 deaths. Your Honour is regarded as an intelligent and compassionate advocate in a field which calls for both in great measure. You have a dry sense of humour, and you are sensitive, thoughtful and courteous with all those with whom the Coroner's Court comes into contact: families, witnesses, practitioners and stakeholders from all areas and walks of life. Your Honour's elevation to the magistracy is a deserved progression of your career in recognition of your extensive coronial experience, for which the Association congratulates you. Magistrate Zerner, for those who are familiar with your practice at the private bar, it is little surprise to see you at the bench today. However, that does not give sufficient credit to your wider career, and the proof it makes that not all paths to the law are so direct. Your Honour was first qualified as a registered nurse, a role which you undertook for 14 years, becoming clinical nurse manager at the St Andrew's War Memorial Hospital, while studying towards your Juris Doctor. In your nursing career, you were recognised for your excellence and awarded the Catherine Evans Memorial Prize on your graduation and the Wesley Hospital Johnson & Johnson Bursary during your career. Joining the legal profession as a solicitor in 2004, Your Honour was awarded a Department of Community Safety Australia Day Award medallion in 2011 for provision of exceptional legal services to the department. You were then called to the bar in the same year. At the bar, you've been involved as junior counsel or as counsel assisting in a large number of inquests and commissions of inquiry, including inquests into the death of 3 women from Doomadgee, the death of Tyson Jessen, the Disability Royal Commission, the sinking of the FV Diane, and the closure of the Barrett Adolescent Centre. Your Honour was also a highly specialised counsel in medical and professional negligence matters, and has been this year the President of the Medico Legal Society of Queensland. It is indeed with some sadness, nay, devastation, that I am losing to this bench one of my favourite juniors in those fields. It is perhaps good timing, though, that Your Honour should need to don new robes. Your Honour's former barrister's robes, having become inaccessible, being caught up and detained in a crime scene, when an inexplicable fire took hold of the local dry cleaners. Most people's first experiences and only experiences of the justice system is in the Magistrates' Court. These people are our clients, and as their advocates, we need to be able to tell them with conviction that they will be treated with respect and fairness by a magistrate possessed of the highest legal acumen, whatever the circumstances that may bring them here. Your Honour's appointments ensure that our confidence in conveying those sentiments will endure. The coronial jurisdiction holds a special place in the legal system of this state. So much of what we do as counsel is about attributing blame through an adversarial system, inviting focus on act and causation and consequence. Your roles will instead focus not on blame, but on responsibility, not on causation, but on cause and effect. Your roles may or may not bring comfort to those before you, but they will bring certainty. It speaks volumes of the high regard in which the Magistrates' Court of Queensland is held in the profession and the community, that individuals of such calibre should step up to accept roles of such relentless responsibility. Your Honour's come to these roles with significant levels of experience in some of the most troubling, technical and complex areas of legal practice, involving the most vulnerable members of the community. The people of Queensland will be well served by Your Honour's appointments. Magistrate Rundle, Magistrate Wood, Magistrate Williams, Magistrate Kirkegaard and Magistrate Zerner, on behalf of the Association, I wish you long and successful terms of service and extend my congratulations to you and your families. May it please the Court.
Thank you, Ms. Hayward-Smith. Ms. Kabilovich.
May it please the Court. I am honoured to be here today on behalf of the Solicitors of Queensland to welcome Your Honours to the Magistrates Court. It is a day of celebration when leading practitioners with strong local connections accept permanent commissions to this fine court. It's normally a red letter day when we welcome 1 or 2 magistrates, but the opportunity to welcome 5 excellent appointments is particularly noteworthy. It is often said that the Magistrates Court is the coalface of justice in Queensland. QLS presidents have remarked upon this jurisdiction being one of the busiest of courts, regularly dealing with Queenslanders who are facing some of the most difficult times in their lives. The burden placed upon the judicial officers of this court is to dispense justice in these circumstances is heavy, and it calls for a healthy dose of compassion and understanding. The role of the contemporary magistrate is complex, including when discharging the role of coroner. It requires a unique mix of intellectual agility, legal acumen, flexibility, and a deep understanding of the human condition. We are fortunate that today we recognise those characteristics in Your Honours aplenty. Appointing magistrates who have both experience and connection with their local communities helps to ensure the public has confidence in justice and the rule of law. Magistrate Rundle, Wood and Williams are to serve the peoples of Pine Rivers, Rockhampton, Roma and Cairns. Each of you has a close affinity and are ideally suited to the busy life of the regional magistrate. These districts will benefit from Your Honours on the on-ground practical expertise. You each have worked across these regions and have first-hand knowledge of the issues facing your local communities. Magistrate Rundle, you have demonstrated your deep commitment to justice in Central Queensland for the last 16 years through your work as a solicitor in private practice with John William and Associates, and more recently, as an employed barrister with Legal Aid Queensland. During this time, you have practiced in employment, crime, family and child protection, gaining experience in a range of matters which will prove invaluable in your judicial role. Your Honour is well known and has engaged in your local legal community in Central Queensland at many events and maintained both a legal practice and an academic career simultaneously, which is to be commended. Holding a position as a law lecturer since 2005 and matching this with a practice career is the perfect way to balance the practical with the academic. Your Honour has been a long-time member of the Queensland Law Society and was a member of our early career lawyers committee between 2010 and 2013. We are grateful for your engagement and your work for the profession. Your appointment is heartily welcomed. Magistrate Wood, you have had a distinguished career in law in Queensland as a senior solicitor, serving the people of Dalby and the Downs expertly for many years. Your firm, Edgar & Wood, is a storied practice in the area with roots going back to 1899 and solicitor William Vowles. Storied names associated with your practice are also former principal and QLS past president Justin O'Sullivan and your former master, the renowned and highly respected Downs solicitor, Mr. John Edgar. Your Honour has worked in this practice since 1990 and yourself built an enviable reputation as a renowned and highly respected senior solicitor. Our members have expressed their joy at your appointment, with one senior regional solicitor noting that yours was an excellent appointment and that the people of Roma will be very well served indeed. If anything, the only issue reported to us has been the lamentation on your loss to the practising profession. Your Honour has been a member of the Queensland Law Society for some 30 years and we are grateful for your engagement and contribution to the profession. Your Honour's appointment to the magistracy is a boon for the people of the Downs, and you have the dedicated support of all of the solicitors in this new endeavour. Magistrate Williams, your appointment to serve the people of Cairns as a magistrate and coroner is welcomed. Your Honour possesses ideal qualifications and experience for this role, with intimate knowledge of the Cairns region and a broad experience that includes counsel assisting the coroner. Your Honour has undertaken prosecutorial and private practice as a solicitor in addition to your time at the private bar. This mix of experiences, relevantly both at home and abroad, have equipped Your Honour with the breadth of vision to be highly successful and ideally suited to this new role. In addition to fine experience, Your Honour has been a mentor and strong proponent for the advancement and recognition of regional women lawyers. Your Instagram page and podcast are just two ways Your Honour has reached out to support the experience of other women lawyers. Your Honour has the support of the far North Queensland legal community, and we wish you every success in this new role. Magistrate Kirkegaard, your appointment is very welcome and a timely recognition of the fine work Your Honour has been undertaking as an acting magistrate, coronial registrar and counsel assisting. In this deep experience, Your Honour has seen firsthand the demands of the complex coronial jurisdiction. While that work may be a little distance away from family law and Will's work you undertook articling at Hopwood Gammon, the foundation of investigation and thoughtful advice will undoubtedly have proved valuable in the roles that followed. I note that Your Honour was a member of the QLS Government Lawyers Committee in the late 90s, and we are grateful for your engagement and membership. We wish you all the best in this new role. Magistrate Zerner, you bring a unique and ideal mix of skills to your new role in the Coronial Court. Having both legal and nursing qualifications and experience, the combination of health and law is an ideal basis from which to come to the work you have undertaken in inquiries as counsel assisting the coroner and ultimately now as coroner. Your Honour, your private practice experience at Thine & McCartney Solicitors in professional indemnity will also likely prove useful in this context. Members, we have spoken about Your Honour's appointment, greeted it enthusiastically, noting Your Honour always to be fair and reasonable, which are ideal attributes for this new enterprise. We wish you all the best in this new role. On behalf of the Solicitors of Queensland, I extend our warm congratulations on all of your appointments, and we look forward to following your successes. May it please the Court.
Thank you, Ms. Kirkegaard. Magistrate Rundle.
Thank you, Acting Chief Magistrate. I thank the Attorney-General, the Honourable Yet Darth, for her faith and confidence in me for this appointment as a magistrate. I thank my mother, father and sister for their continued support throughout my university studies and my career in legal practice and academia. They've always kept me level-headed, which is an important trait as a legal practitioner and one which I'm sure will continue to assist me on the bench. I thank my aunties, uncles and cousins who have always been supportive and encouraged me to study and to achieve and do well. I commenced legal practice in Rockhampton 17 years ago, first as a solicitor at John Williams and Associates through the Legal Aid Queensland Rural Placement Scheme. Without that start, I would not be here today. I've had the benefit, particularly in the early years of my career, practicing across central Queensland and other parts of the state, to work with highly skilled legal advocates, solicitors and barristers, and to appear before many magistrates, acting magistrates and judges throughout the various files in which I represented people. As a regional practitioner, I did a lot of my own advocacy work that also included appearing in Brisbane. On each occasion, the experience was a challenge, something of which I enjoyed. I learned a lot from members of the legal profession and from the judiciary. The lawyer that I am today is because of their guidance and their mentoring. I'm grateful to each of my employers over the last 17 years, from private practice to Legal Aid Queensland to Seeker University. Each employer has always encouraged me to continue to study, to practice law and to teach law at university. To date, there has been no greater satisfaction in my career than to practice law in the day, leave the courtroom and then teach law in the evening, sharing my knowledge of the practice of law during the day and sharing those advocacy skills that I've acquired from legal practice with students who will hopefully become the legal practitioners in the future. My academic career has been highly influenced by Professor Stephen Colburn, the Dean of Law at CQ University, and Professor Lee D'Amelia, Dean of the School of Business and Law at CQ University. They have always encouraged me to undertake further study and to continue to practice law so that I could balance the legal knowledge and advocacy skills that are acquired from practice and then to bring them into the classroom to teach in the evening. Without their support and encouragement, I would not have completed a doctorate. My research was doctrinal. I analysed case law from Australia, the United Kingdom and America in regards to financial agreements. I looked at how the equitable doctrines of duress, unconscionable conduct and undue influence can intervene into family law to overturn a financial agreement. The PhD taught me necessary skills in regards to high-level research, which I'm hopeful will assist me on the bench. I thank my examiners, the Honourable Justice Joshua Wilson of the Federal Circuit and Family Court of Australia Division 1 and Professor Elena Bargelli of the European Law Institute and the University of Pisa, who ultimately assessed my PhD. I thank my fellow magistrates and judges of the higher courts who have each reached out to me over the past week to congratulate me and offer to me their support. I thank Todd Fuller KC, Catherine Hayworth-Smith KC, Chloe Kapelovich for your kind words this morning. I congratulate my fellow magistrates Wood, Williams, Kirkegaard and Zerner on their appointments. I certainly won't forget where I've come from throughout my career. I will ensure that my time on the bench, I will be dedicated and efficient, but that I will listen to people, I will show compassion, and I will be empathetic to both members of the public and to those from the legal profession who will appear in the court. Thank you, Acting Chief Magistrate.
Thanks, Magistrate Rundle. Magistrate Wood.
Thank you. Good morning. I'd firstly like to acknowledge the dignitaries in the room today and respectfully adopt the greetings made by Acting Chief Magistrate Gett earlier. Firstly, and most importantly for me, is to acknowledge the achievements of my fellow appointees today, Magistrates Rundle, Zerner, Kirkegaard and Williams. I'd like to thank the kind words of each of the speakers today. There are many people in the room today who have sat where I am and reflected on their legal careers up to this point. As legal practitioners in our day-to-day roles, we don't focus on our needs, but the needs of our clients and work towards achieving results for them. We do not take on those tasks with a goal of self-promotion or to achieving personal accolades. Hearing the speakers this morning mention some of the events which have marked my legal career has been a proud experience for me. When I first started as a duty lawyer many years ago, I admired the qualities of the various magistrates that I appeared before, in that they were calm, collected, knowledgeable, and respectful of me, my absolute inexperience and naivety. In my early days, I had thought in the back of my mind that perhaps one day I would like to develop those qualities to the point where perhaps I could be considered for appointment as a magistrate. I never considered that to be a realistic possibility. I sit before you today with a profound gratitude and a deep sense of honour as I accept this appointment. I'm humbled by the trust and confidence placed in me by those involved in the selection process, and I am aware of the weighty responsibility that comes with this position. First and foremost, I express my appreciation to those considering me worthy of this role. It is a privilege to be entrusted with the duty of dispensing justice and upholding the principles that form the bedrock of our system. I embark on the journey with a profound respect for the law and a commitment to fairness, impartiality and the protection of individual rights. The role of a magistrate is one that requires not only legal acumen, but a deep understanding of humans, their conditions and a deep empathy for those who seek justice. I would be remiss not to acknowledge the support of my family, friends, mentors and colleagues who have been instrumental in shaping my career and instilling in me a passion for the pursuit of justice. Their encouragement, guidance and, in many cases, correction have been invaluable. I am grateful for the collective effort that has brought me to this moment. As I assume the responsibilities of a magistrate, I have pledged to uphold the highest standards of the judiciary. I'm keenly aware of the challenges that lie ahead. I am committed to approaching each case with integrity and a dedication to ensuring that justice is served. I again express my gratitude for this opportunity. I am excited and honoured to contribute to the administration of justice in our community and in particular in regional communities. With the support of my colleagues, legal professionals and the community at large, I am confident that together we can continue to uphold the principles that define our legal system. Thank you, and I look forward to serving with diligence and dedication in my role as a magistrate.
Thank you, Magistrate Wood. Magistrate Williams.
Can I begin by acknowledging and paying thanks to the Larrakia people, the traditional owners of the land on which I was born and raised. I pay my respects to the Jabagai, Yarraginji, Bulawai, Gimoy, Wallabara, Yadinji, Wajanbara, Boonabara, Gulgabara, Wan Yerudabara, Mundig Albai, Yadinji, and I'm sorry for my pronunciation. I hope these elders will assist me as I take on my new role. The Badabara, Malungabara Yadinji, Mamu, and Nyajonji peoples, who are the traditional owners of the lands where I live, raise my children, and will work as the Northern Coroner. As well as those traditional owners, I pay my respects to the many tribal lands and their owners in the far northern region, including the Torres Strait Islands, over which I will preside as the Northern Coroner. I recognise their connection to country and their role in caring for and maintaining country over thousands of years. I echo the respects of Mr. Fuller KC for the traditional owners of the land upon which we gather today and their elders, past, present and emerging. To the dignitaries, family and friends who are here in person and who are watching online, I join with others and welcome you all. May I congratulate my colleagues, Coroners Kirkegaard and Zerner, as well as Magistrates Rundle and Wood on their appointments. I'm very pleased to share this celebration with you all. Mr. Fuller KC, Ms. Hayward-Smith and Ms. Kapilovich, thank you all for your kind words. To say that my love for the law was a slow burn is putting it a little too politely. At 21, I began working full-time as a paralegal at the Commonwealth DPP in Cairns, and I was studying my law degree full-time at James Cook University. When I finished my law degree, I enthusiastically proclaimed that I was now free to pursue something that truly interested me. Except I thought to myself that I'd better pay back that HECS debt, which had accumulated, and I wasn't quite willing to return to student income and forego the stiletto shoe habit that had developed. Well, I'm glad very much today that shoes and what grew to be a love for advocacy kept me from trying my hand at photography or some other such folly that had my fancy all those years ago. I'm humbled by this opportunity given to me by the Attorney General to serve my community in the role of Northern Coroner. The coronial jurisdiction is one that I am passionate about. After a short-lived attempt as a personal injuries lawyer in 2011, I was hired as counsel assisting the Northern Coroner, Magistrate Priestley, and later Magistrate Bentley. I have ad nauseum over the years described that work as counsel assisting as the most rewarding work of my career. No doubt that will be trumped by this role. The work of in-house counsel assisting was not only fulfilling, but it introduced me to the members of the Coroner's Court, who I now call my fellow coroners. Deputy State Coroner Gallagher took me under her wing at my very first inquest. She schooled me in advocacy, strategies best suited to the jurisdiction, as well as how to appreciate good champagne. I spent many hours alongside the Deputy State Coroner, Coroner Lee, and Coroner Zerner in inquests. I also recall many phone calls to my fellow counsel assisting, now Coroner Kirkegaard, asking for advice. That I can call on their collective wisdom again as I embark on my new role is something that I relish and look forward to. I thank the Attorney General for this opportunity to serve the community presiding in a court that I love. A court which touches the lives of ordinary Queenslanders in their darkest times. A court that has the ability to improve the community through recommendations. To be able to serve in the regions, in the one in which I have lived and worked for most of my life, truly is a privilege. I sit here today because of the love and support of many people, and I've been so fortunate in my life and in my career to have been the recipient of kindness from many, many people from all walks of life, and for that, I'm thankful. Inevitably, in giving a speech such as this, it is fraught with the risk of leaving someone out. But please forgive me as I take a moment to thank those who have been instrumental in my life. I first want to thank my father, Des, who is with us today. When I was 15, he became a single parent to 2 daughters. He showed me the importance of hard work, sacrifice, and humility. A brilliant mind, he did not have the opportunity of a tertiary or even complete secondary education. My father sacrificed a great deal so that his daughters could be the first on both sides of our family to obtain university qualifications. My advocacy skills and thick skin were honed around our dining table, as my father and I could not help but debate everything from politics to whether there was too much salt in that night's dinner. To this day, dining tables remain a heated debating arena. Just ask my children. I suspect that even this appointment will not convince my father to concede an argument to me, but I live in hope. My sister, Shana, who is watching by a video link from Cairns, has always been my cheerleader and my inspiration, and I love her dearly. Shana, I can't promise, but I will try not to debate Dad as often around the dinner table anymore. As many in the room know, it is impossible to pursue a legal career while raising a young family without a supportive partner. For 22 years, Ben Tooth and I were true equals. We were co-captains, and some might have said co-conspirators. Ben encouraged me to be fearless in the pursuit of my ambition. He had unwavering confidence in me at the times I did not have it in myself. Thank you, Ben, for being my best friend for all of those years. We certainly have achieved much together. And my greatest achievement is my children, Spencer and Lara. They've both told me how proud they are of me, but nothing compares to how proud I am of them. Spencer and Lara, you are kind, compassionate, brave, and my goodness, you are very funny. I'm so proud of you both and the young adults that you're growing into. I love you more than anything in this world, even when you think I don't. There have been many lawyers who have mentored me, supported me, and encouraged me throughout the years. Particular thanks to Justice Mellifont, Magistrate Bentley, and Jeff Hunter KC. I have been lucky enough to have been graced not only with their mentorship, but also their friendship, and I thank them for it. The greatest thanks must go, however, to the women who I've been privileged to work for and with since my admission. It is not far-fetched to say that in 2023, women still face significant challenges in the legal profession, particularly in the regions. It is because of the strength, courage, generosity, and humour of my fellow women lawyers that I have been able to face some of those challenges and persevere in my career. When women come together in pursuit of our ambitions, we are a force to be reckoned with. A force for good in our profession and for good in our community. I'm grateful to the collective force of the women who I have worked with in my career. As the Northern Coroner, it is my hope that I can be a force for good, both for the profession and for the community. Thank you, Acting Magistrate. Chief Magistrate Gett.
Thank you, Magistrate Williams. Magistrate Kirkegaard.
Thank you, Acting Chief Magistrate Gett. I join with you in acknowledging the dignitaries present today and the traditional owners of the lands on which we are here today and receive the broadcast of today's ceremony. I thank the Attorney-General, represented by Mr Fuller KC, for her confidence in recommending me for appointment to the Coroner's Court of Queensland. I'm honoured to hold this appointment in a jurisdiction to which I have been deeply committed for many years and has been my long-held vocation. No one could be happier about my appointment than my youngest daughter, who is here today, because once in a moment of desperation, I promised I would buy her a pony if I ever became a coroner. Laura, today in this room full of credible witnesses, you collect. Thank you to Mr Fuller, Casey, Ms Hayworth-Smith, Casey, and Ms Kapilovich for your very kind words and your warm welcome on behalf of the Attorney-General, the Bar Association and the Queensland Law Society. Today is made all the more special by being appointed alongside Magistrate Williams and Magistrate Zerner, who I have known and worked alongside in and around the Coroner's Court in different ways over the past 15 years. You are both exceptional women, and it is an honour to take my place beside you today. We are joining the Coroner's Court at a very exciting time of significant coronial system reform. My congratulations also to Magistrate Rundle and Magistrate Wood on your appointments. I wish you both all the very best. As you have heard, I have travelled a different path here today. I entered the profession determined to forge a career in family law, starting as an article clerk at Hopgood and Gannon, working with the wonderful Jeff Wilson. On reflection, it's not such a great leap from family law to the Coroner's Court, working to provide outcomes for families experiencing great trauma, grief and loss. Family law unexpectedly opened a door into the public service and a career in policy and lawmaking, effectively doubling my salary overnight. State Coroner Ryan happened to be a member of the selection panel for that fateful first public service interview, clearly exercising most excellent judgment. This is when the coronial system first beckoned, working on Queensland Health's contribution to the Coroners Act review in the late 90s and continuing in a coronial policy and legislation development as part of the Justice Department's elite strategic policy team, led back then by State Coroner Ryan. I am forever grateful to Leanne Robertson, mother of the current Coroners Act, for so generously sharing her baby with me. Leanne, you have played such an important role in my career as a mentor and a friend. I turned operational joining the Coroner's Court in 2008. There I saw an opportunity for the court to benefit from a judicial registrar type role to help manage its ever-increasing workload. With the advocacy of the then State Coroner Michael Barnes and then Registry Director Brigitte Cunnington, the coronial registrar role came to fruition in 2012, the first of its kind in an Australian coronial jurisdiction. I'm deeply grateful to Michael Barnes, Christine Clements, John Locke and State Coroner Ryan for their mentoring, encouragement and support to me in this role and later as an acting coroner. Thank you for all the opportunities you gave me over the years that have led me here today. I draw from your collective qualities of strategic vision, quiet wisdom, compassion, collegiality, grace, pragmatism, and extraordinary work ethic in everything I do. I am told that since 2012, I have now dealt with the deaths of over 18,000 people. It is a privilege to have contributed to what the coronial system has achieved for their families, working closely with police, forensic physicians, forensic pathologists, coronial nurses and coronial counsellors, many of whom I have worked with since 2008. In particular, I acknowledge the support and enduring friendship of Dr. Charles Naylor and Dr. Don Buchanan, a friendship and working relationship going back to the late 90s, late last century, in fact. What started with just me and one coronial support officer has grown to 2 coronial registrars supported by a truly wonderful support team of 4. And while I've been supported by many great staff over the year, there is one in particular I wish to thank. Cressy Ray, you are marvellous. Our registry staff go over and above every day to support not only the coroners and registrars, but also families processing their grief in so many different ways. It's truly special to still be working with those who were there when I started. A number of you have become lifelong friends. You know who you are. To my family and dear friends, many of whom are here today, you have been with me every step of the way to today. My brother and I were brought up by one gutsy lady, left widowed at 40 with 2 young children, a farm and a pharmacy she could not keep. She was determined to broaden our horizons beyond the small country town where we lived and see us become university educated. That meant us leaving home for boarding school and beyond not long after our father died suddenly. Having become parents ourselves, we now understand exactly what she sacrificed to set us up for all the opportunities that followed. She too died too young many, many years ago, but not before she was sure we had the resilience we needed to make our own way in the world without her. To my dear brother, listening in, we have both done her so very, very proud. To Matt, with whom I share 2 beautiful daughters, thank you for everything. Not least of all for your Danish surname that confounds countless doctors trying to spell it on death certificates every day, as recently as 1:40 a.m. this morning. To my 2 beautiful daughters, watching you make brave choices to follow your passions brings me pride and joy every day. Stay true to yourselves, and hopefully, like me, you will get to where you are meant to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Magistrate Kirkegaard. And last but not least, Magistrate Zerner.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Chief Magistrate Yett. For efficiency, I join in acknowledging the dignitaries who are here today and express my gratitude for their presence. I express my sincere thanks to Mr. Fuller KC on behalf of the Attorney, the Vice President of the Bar Association, Ms. Kate Hayworth-Smith KC, and the President of the Queensland Law Society, Ms. Kapilovic, for their very kind words. They have been affirming, to say the least. I also thank the Attorney General for entrusting me to serve in this very important role. I do not take the appointment lightly and feel both honoured and privileged to hold the position of Coroner. I also congratulate my fellow magistrates, Rundle and Wood, and Coroners Kirkegaard and Williams in their appointments. As I look out on the sea of faces here today, it is not lost on me that I am surrounded by family, colleagues, friends and mentors who have played pivotal roles in my journey. You have stood by my side, opened doors and given me opportunities, grounded me and lifted me up when I needed support along the way. This is truly a full circle moment for me. The impetus to commence studying law at the age of 30 was a patient's death in a ward I was the clinical manager of. On the day of the incident, I met with Shane Evans from Minter Allison, and then later had my statement taken by the now Deputy State Coroner Gallagher. I decided very quickly I wanted to be on the opposite side of the table and changed the MBA I was studying to a Juris Doctor. I ended up being a witness in the coronial inquest in my 2nd year of law. And then I, on graduation, worked for the firm, Tana McCartney, who represented the hospital at the inquest. Several of my friends are here from those days. When I came to the bar in 2011, I had the incredible opportunity to act as John Locke's, the former Deputy State Coroner's counsel assisting for 6 months, while his regular counsel assisting was on maternity leave. John has been a huge supporter of mine, and we've had many adventures over the years. One that stands out is dinner in Stanthorpe after a day in court, when the waiter referred to John as Dad, me as Mum, and our clerk as our child. Many laughs were had. There then was the food poisoning episode, but I don't need to go there. Another big supporter of mine in this jurisdiction is the former State Coroner, Michael Barnes. He perhaps believed in me much more than I believed in myself at the time. To all the coroners who have briefed me as counsel assisting over the years, it has been a true privilege. To all of my new colleagues within the Coronial Court, I am thrilled to be a part of the team and look forward to working closely with you in a very exciting time in the coronial space. I have been incredibly fortunate at the bar with a successful practice with many very loyal clients. I'm grateful to them for their ongoing support and encouragement over the years. To my Medico Legal Society of Queensland colleagues, it has been a great privilege to hold the position of President over the last 12 months, and I wish them ongoing success. I'm also thankful for the many heartfelt congratulations I have received over the last week. It has been a truly humbling experience. I thank my chamber colleagues from Jeddah Chambers. I was very lucky to land there at the commencement of my career as a barrister. I thank Cheryl Lewis, my secretary, for her ongoing support. And I'd also like to acknowledge the amazing work of Michael Drummond, the clerk from Hammersmith, and to thank my Hammersmith colleagues for their collegiality. While it is difficult to thank everyone, there are 4 individuals I would like to particularly single out here today. Jeff Dean, KC, and Magistrate Kay Phillipson, who were respectively my senior and junior masters. Their support, encouragement, wisdom and friendship over the years is greatly appreciated. Justice Mellifont, Rebecca Treston KC have been 2 women of influence in my career. They have lifted me up and supported me in so many ways that they would not necessarily recognise. I am truly indebted to them. To my family and friends, your presence here and those following online today is cherished. I'd like to pay tribute to my mother, who was my first and most ardent supporter. She was the only person who gave me a standing ovation at my nursing graduation. That's all that you need to know about my mother. She would have been beyond proud of today's celebrations. To Dad, who we nearly lost 2 years ago to a health scare, it's incredibly special to know that you have survived to witness today. I have inherited a lot of qualities from my dad, some good, some not so good. But one of those qualities that he instilled in me was a strong work ethic, and I am doubtful I would have achieved this high point in my career if it was not for his influence in this regard. To Dad's long-term partner, Jill, you have been a gift to us, and to me personally as a mother figure whose source of wisdom and kindness has meant the world to me. To my brother Darren, thank you for coming up from Sydney to share this moment with me today. I value your support and treasure our connections. Thanks also to my brother Justin and sister-in-law Anna, who could not be here today. Finally, but not lastly, to my wife Sue. Your patience and support have been my bedrock. The bar's demands can be all-consuming, yet you have been a pillar of strength. You have always kept me in check and supported me beyond measure. I'm excited about this next chapter of my life with you standing by my side. I look forward to doing my best to serve the community in my new role as a coroner. Thank you.
Thank you, Magistrate Zerner. It would be remiss of me not to thank Ms. Kapilovich for her presidency of the Queensland Law Society. As I understand, this may be her last formal ceremony during her tenure. The court thanks you, Ms. Kapilovich, for all your hard work and efforts in advancing the legal landscape, particularly for the solicitors of Queensland. I also wish to thank Ms. Nicola Askin and the Chief Magistrate's office staff for all the wonderful work and hard work they do in coordinating all the moving parts for today's ceremony. Thank you to all in person and online for your presence here today. On behalf of all the magistrates in the state of Queensland, I wish you and your loved ones a relaxing and enjoyable break during this festive season. I direct that these proceedings be recorded and transcribed. I invite all of you to join us for morning tea on level 9 to personally welcome the new magistrates. Tori, if you could please adjourn the court.
Thanks very much, Todd. Not so much.
Nice to have met you. Until next time.
You are the only participant in the conference.